Hello everyone, I'm a Broken Robot. In the world of video games, no genre is as divisive as that of the dungeon crawler. If you're unfamiliar with the term, a dungeon crawler is a video game that's main gameplay revolves around playing through a randomized game level with traps, enemies, item shops, and other kinds of RNG mechanics that can both help and hinder you as the player. Some popular titles of dungeon crawlers you might have played can include The Binding of Isaac, Hades, Darkest Dungeon, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and Slay the Spire. While games like these have been able to break into the mainstream, very few dungeon crawler titles reach the numbers that other game studios get due to the taboo nature of the genre. Many critics of dungeon crawler titles will make claims like the heavy involvement of RNG makes players rely on luck more so than skill, or that because a dungeon resets every time your player is defeated, it can take us twice as long for players to beat a level. That's why today I'd like to talk about a game that I and critics alike agree has a perfect blend of RNG and player builds that create what may possibly be one of the greatest dungeon crawler video games to ever hit Steam, that game being none other than Wizard of Legend. Wizard of Legend is an indie roguelike action-adventure game developed by Contagen 99, a small game development studio founded by two brothers, Wesley and Justin Mayo. The Mayos, who have a background in game design and development, began working on Wizard of Legend in 2016 as a passion project in their spare time on weekends. They wanted to create a game that combined elements of roguelikes and action RPGs, with a focus on magic combat and fast-paced gameplay. To fund the development of the game and bring it to a wider audience, Contagen 99 launched a Kickstarter campaign in 2017. The campaign successfully raised funds, exceeding its initial goal, allowing an expansion to the game that added the now iconic boss system, as well as numerous enemy variants. Contagen 99 released alpha and beta versions of the game to gather feedback from players and refine the gameplay mechanics, balancing the content. Despite Justin's difficulties with implementing a multiplayer version of the game, overall all types of gamers enjoyed the unique take on the classic dungeon crawler. Wizard of Legend was officially released on May 15, 2018, for various platforms. Critics immediately fell in love with the game, and while the player base didn't stay as loud as long as developers had liked, GOG.com gave it a 4 out of 5, and Wizard of Legends was given a 95% on Google reviews, as well as a 9 out of 10 on Steam. When you play the actual game, you assume the role of a powerful unnamed wizard intent on becoming a Wizard of Legend. Every year in the Kingdom of Lenova, the Council of Magic holds the Chaos Trials, a gauntlet of magical challenges put forth by the strongest members of this magical society, who mold the castle into a labyrinth full of hazards and enemies, with themselves as the final boss. Contestants that successfully complete all of the challenges and demonstrate superior wizardry earn the title of Wizard of Legend. This simple but captivating story helps not only immerse you as the player into the universe, but paints a lore-accurate reason for the dungeon crawls compared to other titles in the genre that simply push levels in front of you for the sake of game progression. What makes Wizard of Legend a perfect dungeon crawler is its combination of random dungeon loot combined with a pre-selected character build. While in most dungeon crawlers your player character enters a dungeon with the bare minimum, in Wizards of Legend you can not only pre-select your type of armor your character wears, but 2 of its 4 attacks, which depending on your playstyle can make or break a run for even the most experienced players, as well as your base melee and dash attack, which can be vital depending on your playstyle. In Wizard of Legend, selecting your attacks or arcana as the game refers to any magical items, it's important to keep in mind that certain attacks do more and less depending on what type of enemy and dungeon you're in. Fire attacks are strong against ice and wind, but weak against ground-based attacks, whereas ground attacks are weak against water, but are strong against wind-based enemies. Your character's attire also grants a buff. These buffs can range from collecting more gold during battle to having a higher chance to evade attacks. You're also able to start with one item that can grant potentially hundreds of different buffs. Much like with selecting your starting attacks, picking your starting attire and item depends entirely on your playstyle. If you prefer to use ranged base attacks, maybe carry an item that boosts the damage of ranged attacks. Need something to help you heal in battle? Carry vampire glasses that help you heal every time you get a critical hit. There's no right or wrong way to set up your player's build, but understand that you can't solely rely on your starting equipment to clear 6 sections of enemies and beat 3 bosses and the Grand Master. If you want to get far, you'll have to adapt constantly. When actually playing the game, you will encounter a few characters in the hub world that can provide some help prior to entering the Chaos Trials. Some characters can do things like give you some starting gold when you enter, or place you in a specific section to start your dungeon crawl, but besides this, each Chaos Trial arena is totally different. The enemies you encounter throughout the trials range from traditional simplistic melee and ranged variants to elaborate type variants to specialized enemies like golems and mimics that provide a higher challenge than traditional enemies. As you progress through the Chaos Trials, the weaker types of enemies will be replaced with upgraded versions. The fire level, known as Inferno, is characterized by its fiery landscape and burning structures. Environmental hazards include lava pools and fire-spewing statues that can damage the player. Enemies in the Inferno are often fire-themed and may include fire-spewing mages and fiery creatures. The mini-boss for these levels are typically a fire-themed enemy with powerful abilities related to flames. Aqua Arcanum is the water level, featuring a submerged and aquatic environment. Hazards in this level include waterfalls and streams that can push the player around. Water-based enemies such as water elementals and aquatic creatures are common in this stage. The mini-boss often takes on the form of a water-based foe and might involve mechanics related to water manipulation. The Earth level, called Earth Lord's Castle, has a rocky and mountainous terrain. Players will encounter obstacles like rolling boulders and crumbling platforms. Earth-themed enemies such as golems and stone creatures inhabit this level and are very common. The mini-boss typically features a formidable Earth-themed foe, and the battle environment may have rocky hazards. Sky Palace is the air level, characterized by floating islands and a sky-high environment. Challenges in this level often include navigating platforms and dealing with strong winds. Enemies in the Sky Palace tend to be aerial creatures and wind elemental foes. The mini-boss battle can involve enemies with air-based attacks and unique movement patterns. Each of these elemental levels culminates in a mini-boss battle. 2 levels must be cleared before progressing to the final boss of each stage. Successfully completing these levels and defeating mini-bosses rewards the player with arcana and other resources that can be used to customize your wizard's abilities. A unique quirk of the way Wizard of Legend dungeons are built is how, unlike in most dungeon crawlers, vendors and other NPCs can be run into. This can be a great way to stock up on healing potions, as well as a great way to acquire more items in arcana to help you grow stronger to keep up with the difficulty curve. While some NPCs you encounter in the Chaos Trials can help you through a simple gold transaction, others involve gambling mechanics where you as the player might have to weigh the risk versus the reward of an encounter. Let's quickly discuss the NPCs you'll encounter. Artisan Andreas runs the Relic Shop, which will offer 5 random relics from pools that the player has unlocked and a healing potion. The health potion will always cost 100 gold, but the other relics have set prices depending on the relic. Occasionally some relics will be offered on sale for 10% off their normal gold prices. The health potion will never be on sale. Andreas also appears in the main plaza, where he will sell relics for gems to unlock them permanently. Virtuoso Iris runs the Arcana Shop, which will offer 5 random Arcanas, 2 of which will be enhanced from pools the player has unlocked. The prices will vary based on the individual Arcana. Occasionally some Arcana will be on sale for 10% off their normal gold prices. She will not sell Arcana that the player currently has in their hand, unless one of them can be enhanced. The cost to enhance a currently held Arcana varies from 100 gold to 150 gold. Iris also appears in the main plaza, where she will sell Arcana for gems to unlock them permanently. Salvile the Tailor is a clothing merchant. For 100 gold and 100 health, he will upgrade the player's outfits, increasing its effects by a further 50%. Nox the Unfortunate offers the player a selection of 5 cursed relics. The relics are free, but the player can choose only one. Cursed relics are quite powerful, but also come with drawbacks, and the relic cannot be removed for the rest of the Chaos Trials. These relics can only be acquired from Nox, or very rarely from chests, bosses, and even normal enemies. Dr. Song tells the player that she's studying the effects of long-term Arcana usage and asks for an Arcana. If the player accepts, she will take a random standard Arcana from the player's inventory and give the player one of 7 relics that can only be acquired from her, alongside dropping 3 health orbs. She also provides a health potion for 75 gold. Taffy the Pinata wants the player to hit him with a strong enough combo to burst him open. The combo starts on the first hit, and the player will have roughly 5 seconds to bring his health bar down to nothing. If not enough damage is dealt before the 5-second timer elapses, Taffy will teleport to the center of the room, regenerate any missing health, and laugh at the player. If he can be defeated, he will drop an enhanced Arcana and 50 gold. Cremir the Collector will buy relics from the player. To do so, the player must walk up to him and press the interact key. While hovering over the relic in their inventory, Cremir will then pay them 40% of the item's store value in gold for it. The amount of gold paid cannot be seen beforehand. Cursed relics cannot be sold. Nocturne the Cardist will take one of the player's standard Arcana cards and swap it out for 5 randomly selected ones. The player will then be able to choose 2 of the 5 cards to replace their one. While the NPCs help keep the game fresh and interesting, they also supply the vital role of providing items and gear to help you survive the Chaos Trials that in all honesty are fairly difficult. As someone who's clocked in multiple hours into Wizard of Legend, it wasn't until a dozen or so attempts that I finally was able to clear the first few mini-bosses. If you're looking for a challenge, then Wizard of Legend will be right up your alley. With an always changing dungeon layout, over 3 dozen types of enemies, and a mini-boss at the end of each section, you'd be forgiven for labeling Wizard of Legend as hard. Overall, Wizard of Legend is the ideal dungeon crawler game. Not only does it have a simple but logical story that most gamers can get behind, but it also has the perfect combination of RNG and player-based skill involved, giving just the right amount of choice while also being at the will of the random level layouts. The unique blend of relentless rooms full of enemies and friendly vendors and morally gray random encounters creates the perfect dungeon layout that is iced over with the challenging and well-designed bosses, as well as the triumphant final boss. Thanks to a combination of replayability, challenge, and a captivating pixelated art style, Wizard of Legend is perfect for both casual and hardcore gamers, offering a unique experience as well as the challenge to come with it. If you haven't already, I highly suggest each of you watching this video to check out Wizard of Legend. It was easily the best $20 I've ever invested. And with that being said, if you've stuck around this long, please take a moment to like and subscribe. If you like this video, it lets me know that you guys want more video essays and game reviews, and if you subscribe, you won't miss my upcoming upload. I hope you all have a great day, drink some water, and stay safe.